It's Monday, March 30th, 2026. Welcome back, me. So, overall, it was a pretty short trip down to Florida, day and a half of travel. One day for family business, including mass and interment for grandma, and one day to kind of be tourists. We flew into Orlando on Thursday, drove out to a house my sister rented for the whole clan down in Daytona Beach. It was mom, dad, me, all three sisters, two husbands, and the star of the show, my little niece. If nothing else, the weather there was a great reminder of why so many people choose to live there. So, Friday was the day of the event. We started out at a funeral mass at the same Catholic church I visited when I was last there visiting Grandma in Daytona. She, with my aunt, had moved there from another parish that had simply become too conservative. That move mirrored a similar move that my parents made recently here in Minnesota when they moved from their Catholic community of over 20 years to another one that better fit their values. When we were growing up, we had a priest there who was an outspoken advocate for the poor. But recently, the younger priests that they had seemed to be more interested in bringing back dogma and old tradition. The service was lovely, and I think we all got our share of tears out. Grandma's ashes were interred in a DeLand cemetery right next to her late husband's, who had passed 23 years prior. I learned there that day that Grandma went on the day of his birthday, which seemed all too fitting, because from what we saw growing up and what we heard in the stories after, they were like that the whole time. The reception was great too. We got to catch up with a bunch of cousins that I hadn't seen for years or even decades. Hi, Rachel. One of the catching up I did was with a cousin I haven't seen for at least 15 years. He and his wife live in Jacksonville, and they both work in healthcare. And they bought a house around the same time I did, back in 2019, just in time to lock in probably the most affordable mortgage any of us will probably see in our lifetimes. Okay, one quick side note about the reception. One thing I learned about the extended family is that I must be related to the whitest of white people. I know this for a fact because one of the two pasta salads and the only potato salad there were paler than Casper the Ghost. Please, no matter who is watching this, if you are making a non-lettuce related salad of the pasta or potato variety and it does not contain any paprika, you need to find a different recipe. All right. Well, Saturday was a bit more freeform. We had one agenda item going down there since we were going to miss the No Kings rally here in Minnesota, and my mom especially was very much looking forward to making it to it. Luckily, the one that they had in Daytona Beach was scheduled for 10 to 12 in the morning, and the weather was sublime. It was, as I imagine most across the country were, very diverse. The signs and energy that people brought were impeccable. Saturday afternoon was probably the unexpected highlight of the trip for me. We went and met up with some of the cousins from Ohio to go see my uncle play bass for a small country band at a Central Florida biker bar. We had a high wind and a bit of rain under the canopies at OB's, which I think stands for Old Bastards in DeLand, and I found myself a few beers deep belting out Leonard Skinner lyrics to songs I hadn't heard in over a decade. It was pretty funny, too, to see Dad and the uncle, who he probably hadn't seen in just as many years, picking at each other just like you'd expect a couple of brothers to do. All in all, the short trip was real nice, and it did just what you'd hope that funerals have the power to do. It brought family together over great distance, despite tragic circumstances, and allowed for a bit of reunion and celebration to complement the morning.